Hi guys, it's Kim from KK's Creations, and today I'm going to show you how I make another wooden door hanger. This one is a paw print that says, "Welcome, we hope you like dogs." So the first thing you're going to do, which I already did, was stain my board. I'm going to move that out of the way. And then I made my stencil. And so I'm going to weed my stencil. And I want the paw prints to be brown, so I'm going to take out, oops, now I'm doing it backwards. I'm going to take out the big piece. Okay. And then the words, I want, so this part that's white will now be black. And then on the words, I want the letters on the words to be black. So I'm going to pull all these out. So that is all weeded now. And the next step is going to be to put the transfer tape on. Usually what I do is put it down like this. Get it flat. And I'm just going to cut this. And then I'm gonna unroll the shorter one and just put it over this part that didn't get it and do the same thing. And then I'm just going to cut off this excess real quick. Let's move that out of the way. Then I'm going to flip it over. Okay. Then the next thing I'm going to do is, let me get this out of the way. Grab my board. I'm just kind of want to make sure that it's lined up. Okay, and then what I usually do is take a piece of tape to hold this in place. And then what I'm going to do is pull up the and if it doesn't want to come off, usually if you just rub it back down on there, it'll come off. And then I'm going to lay this down. Because then it makes it tight, and then I can pull this off. And then I can lift it up from this side. Just pull this back. And then what I like to do, just kind of, as I do a little bit, just kind of hold it down. Let me turn it this way, because then you can actually see what I'm doing. So then all I'm doing is taking and squeegeeing it down as I'm unfolding it. Okay, so then now that that's off, we're going to take off the transfer tape, which I like to do on an angle and keep it kind of low. Start over here. I should have cut this extra off before I start doing this, but that's okay. And this part needed to be, I needed it bigger than the edge of the sign because I want to paint to that edge. That's why it's hanging off. I'm just going to kind of rub my hand on it just to make sure it's down flat. Okay, so now I have a sponge brush, and I'm just going to do very light layers of paint over the sign. Okay, so now there's 3 coats of paint on. I feel like it's got enough on it. So now I'm going to pull off the transfer tape. And then I just use this little weeding tool to help me get in for the letters that have things in the middle. Now I'm going to work on this top piece. Just going to try to get this top piece off first. Sometimes it's easier if it's not going all the way down and around. W. Okay. Now I will go back, let's see, on this E right here, I've got to pull out this little middle section. Just get on the end of it and pull it up. Get the rest of the C out. And then this middle section of the E. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do is actually, before I forget, I'm gonna just cut off a little bit of jute and I'm gonna staple this to the back. I always end up forgetting and have to do it after I put my bow on. So I'm just gonna kind of hold it where I think I want it. I'll staple one side down and then check and make sure it's in the right spot. And this, of course, is gonna scare my dog, but that's okay. Okay, so now I'm going to make the bow, and I use a bow dabra, which is this, and then I just use this really thin jute. jute or twine. And then I just slip it through these pieces right here, and then tuck it underneath. Move this camera up a little bit. Sorry about that. Okay. So then what I'm gonna do, I usually make my loops about 4 inches. So I just start with a tail, then I twist it. I bring this over to the side, and then I just kind of tuck it in. Right around 4 inches. And then I'll bring it on this side. Do the same thing. I'm gonna twist it, pull this over. Let's see where this goes at. Right about 4 inches. And then I'll cut off this end. And then I don't use this measuring thing anymore. I just make each, like the next ribbon, I just make a little bit smaller than the one before. Twist it, pull it over. And again, I just make it just a little bit smaller than the one before. Twist it, pull it over. Cut that end off. And I have this new ribbon that I just got that is super cute with the paw prints on it. Twist it, and the reason you twist it is like this isn't on both sides, and so then the pretty side is actually showing on both sides. And I don't always use 6 ribbons, but most of the time, or yeah, 6 ribbons. Most of the time I do. I just like the contrast of the colors, and I hope I don't run out of this one. It's almost gone. Twist it. Couldn't get much closer than that. I almost ran out with that one. And then I'm going to do this. And I use both sizes, 2.5 inches, 1.5 inches. Sometimes I do all 1.5. Just depends on what you're doing and what your preference is. Sometimes if I need a little bit smaller bow, I feel like the 2-inch ribbon is quite a bit bigger. Okay, then my last one. so then I just push this all down together, and then I'm going to take the jute and pull it up and get it ready to tie. And I just pull it as tight as I can. I take it out and I turn it over and try to press it down some more. And then just tie it. Again, as tight as you can. And usually I don't cut the ends of this off because this is what I use to attach it, but I have been drilling holes in the board in attaching the ribbon that way, because then if they want to, you know, change out the bow for different holidays, they can. And when I'm done, I'll put floral wire on it so that it can, that's how I actually attach it. So what I do, I just start at the bottom, kind of pull out the bow, pull out the tail, and I dovetail it. And I just kind of guess. Sometimes I have to go back and make them a little shorter. And then on the next one, you want the tail the opposite. It's like this is a tail, and then a loop, and then this one had the loop, and then the tail. And I usually just try to make the tail a little bit smaller than the, actually a little bit shorter. And you can always, like I said, you can always go back at that when you're all done and cut them up if they need to be a little shorter. So then this one will go the opposite. So this way. And if there's a print that I want to show, like I don't really like to cut this down the middle, but I'm gonna have to cut it some. But I'll try to leave a little bit of the design, even if it is a little bit bigger. And then I'll move this one over. Oops. These go opposite how I had it. Okay, and then when you get to this side, like the bottom, this side was a tail, so you want this side to be a loop. So basically everything is just opposites on both sides. That's still too long. And then the next one goes the opposite. I don't really want to have to cut this one down further, but it's way too long. Okay, so that is all there is to the bow. And then it's easier to kind of fluff it once it's actually attached. I'm gonna have to cut this one even a little shorter. It's way too long. Okay, and then the only other thing that I have been doing, I have these little half beads that I painted black. It's just oops, there. And I've been putting that in the middle. I might actually like paint some polka dots on it or a little dog print, and then I hot glue that in. But the next thing, I've got glitter all over. The next thing I'm going to do real quick is put the, I just take a little bit of this floral wire. I don't know where my wire cutters are. Let's try to cut it with these scissors. And then I just take it, let me think, do I want it to be this way? Yeah. I take it around and just try to make sure that it's really tight and just twist it around. Yeah, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 times. And then I'll leave this, well, I'm gonna bend it over at the moment. And then I'm gonna bring my sign down and see. Obviously it still needs to be fluffed up, but we'll see how that's gonna look on there. I may have to cut this one down. It looks like it's gonna be too long. I don't like it to hang over the letters on the sign. So I'm going to try to make it even. And then I'll just make sure I hook the bow up higher towards the top. Like sometimes I like to put the bows off to the side. So I'm gonna figure out where I'm gonna put the bow, and then I will come back and show you how I drill it. So I will be back in just a minute. Okay, so now the last thing I'm gonna do, I kind of know where I want this to be. So I am just going to take the drill . Do it real quick in the same holes, the opposite way, in the back. Okay. And then I'm just gonna take the wire. This would be hard to do where you can see it, but take the wire through that hole and that hole. And then I turn it over. I'm gonna take my little plier thingies and just make sure that it's pulled really tight on both ends. And then I'm just gonna twist it around 3 or 4 times. And then again, I don't know where my wire cutters went, but I'm just gonna cut part of it off. I like to leave it because if they want to change the bow out, they can just undo that and then change it. I'm gonna flip it over. And this is where I start fluffing. And I have this little tube that's left over from some mesh. So like I'll fluff that, and then this works better if it's longer bows, but you can kind of wrap it around it to get a little curl. And I usually just do that as I'm pulling these things around, twisting that. Trying to get that curl in there. This one doesn't like, this ribbon doesn't like to curl very well. And then I'll do the other side. And then the only thing, I'm still gonna look for maybe like a little dog bone or something to put in there, or like this black bead just to add a little bit of color. But even without it, if you just pull these in towards the middle, you can't see the wires or anything. And there is the finished door hanger. Let's see if I can. So thank you for watching, and if you like it, give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to follow my other tutorials as I make them, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.